Welcome to today's lecture on Plan, Do, Check, Act, PDCA. This is probably a new concept for many of you, so let's go ahead and get started and see what it's all about. PDCA, or Plan, Do, Check, Act, involves continuous improvement in a methodical way. It's also known as Plan, Do, Study, Act, or PDCA, the Deming Wheel, and the Shewhart Cycle. Imagine that your customer satisfaction score on a business ratings website has dipped. When you look at recent comments, you see that your customers are complaining about late delivery and that products are being damaged in transit. So you decide to run a small pilot project for a month using a new supplier to deliver your products to a sample set of customers. And you're pleased to see that the feedback is positive. As a result, you decide to use the new supplier for all your orders in the future. What you've just done is a single loop called the PDCA cycle. This is an established tool for achieving continuous improvement in your business. During World War II, PDCA was used in the United States to improve production processes in the times of war. The focus was on studying the results of innovations while keeping track of the initial plan. The PDCA cycle was pioneered by American physicist and management consultant Dr. W. Edwards Deming in the 1950s, who then coined the term Shewhart cycle after his mentor. Deming developed a method of identifying why some products or processes don't work as hoped. His approach has since become a popular strategy tool used by many different types of organizations. It allows them to formulate theories about what needs to change and then test them in a continuous feedback loop. Deming himself used the concept of Plan, Do, Study, Act, PDCA. He found that the focus on check is more about the implementation of a change. He preferred to focus instead on studying the results of any innovations and to keep looking back at the initial plan. He stressed that the search for new knowledge is always guided by theory, so you should be as sure as you can that your theory is right. In 1951, the Japanese Union of Scientists and Engineers altered Deming's framework into the more recognizable PDCA cycle. Although well over half a century has passed since the introduction of the Deming cycle to executives in Japan, most open-ended approaches still seek to repeat learning cycles as rapidly as possible for obtaining customer feedback and making improvements in all pertinent areas. The language may change slightly, but the basic thinking has not changed much. Consider the three-phase concept, build, measure, learn, popularized by Eric Rice in his book, The Lean Startup. His iterative process is fundamentally similar to both the original Shewhart and Deming cycles. Words may change or be slightly altered, but the timeless classic concepts stay the same. There is a similarity between PDCA and Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control, DMAIC. I'm not sure who exactly coined the DMAIC acronym, but it's been around for a while. When I first encountered it, it seemed to be an update of Walter Shewhart's PDCA cycle from 1939, which we know was later called the Shewhart cycle by Dr. Deming. The four phases of PDCA are recognize an opportunity and plan the change, test the change, review the test, analyze the results, and identify the lessons learned and take action. DMAIC improves upon PDCA because it more specifically cites two vital actions, improve and control. The PDCA framework works well in all types of organizations. It can be used to improve any process or product by breaking them down into smaller steps or development stages and exploring ways to improve each one. It's particularly helpful for implementing total quality management or Six Sigma initiatives and for improving business processes generally. However, going through the PDCA cycle can be much slower than a straightforward gung-ho implementation, so it may not be the appropriate approach for dealing with an urgent problem. It also requires significant buy-in from team members and offers fewer opportunities for radical innovation, which may be what your organization needs instead. While PDCA is an effective business tool, you can also use it to improve your own performance. First, plan. Identify what's holding you back personally and how you want to progress. Look at the root causes of any issues and set goals to overcome these obstacles. Next, do. When you've decided on your course of action, safely test different ways of getting the results that you want. Then, check. Review your progress regularly, adjust your behavior accordingly, and consider the consequences of your actions. And finally, act. Implement what's working, continually refine what isn't, and carry on the cycle of continuous improvement. Once you've identified a potential solution, test it safely with a small-scale pilot project. This will show whether your proposed changes achieves the desired outcome with minimal disruption to the rest of your operation. For example, you could organize a trial with any department in a limited geographical area or with a particular demographic. As you run the pilot project, gather data to show whether the change has worked out or not. Execution is more crucial than planning. This stage is divided into 3 sub-segments: training the team members, the implementation process, and then documenting the execution process. If the results are successful, the team documents the revised process so that it becomes a standard procedure for all who may use it. The team may then instruct other employees in use of the revised solution. Remember, the PDCA is a loop, not a process with a beginning or an end. Assuming success, the next step is to go back and see if there's any more low-hanging fruit that will enable you to have further success. I hope that you found our discussion about PDCA to be useful and that you will use it extensively for the future for any project or other aspect of your processes that you're working on.